Oh, I'm Elgato, welcome back to an episode of my Minecraft Xbox Update Adventures Let's Play. This is the Let's Play where I'm playing through the various updates that have come out for Minecraft Bedrock Edition, building stuff, killing stuff, and of course, destroying stuff. And in today's episode, I'm actually going to be building something brand new. I think it'd be kind of fun to do like a little bit of a trial version, because I'm here in Japan right now. I want to mention that just because we're on Switch for the first time ever, even though this is the Xbox Update Adventures, right? But I put the world onto a realm, which I'm now playing on the Switch, and I'll explain where I am, why I'm here, all the sorts of things that you might want to know, while we work on a giant pack dice build. I'm going to be using all of the pack dice, or most of it at the very least, to make a huge build somewhere in the TU31 Let's Play area. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and let me explain everything in today's video. Also, we're going to get invites, because, you know, there's a lot of problems with the Switch that I've been running into over the past week. There's performance issues, there's stuff like that. I want to make a whole video at some point talking about the Switch, but for now, I want to mention that we're playing on the Switch, and that's why things look a little bit different in terms of render distance, in terms of everything else, and yeah, for now, let's just mention I'm in Japan, and have been for the past couple of weeks, and will be most of the next week too. This is actually the longest I've ever been outside the country, if you'll believe it or not. I've gone for 3 weeks, and it was just kind of a thing where I was like, you know what, I want to see all of the country for once, like, you know, like really, not just like see a city or, you know, 2 or 3, but like see as much of a country as I really can, and that's why I decided to spend 3 weeks here. It's been a dream of an experience. I love food, and that's most of the reason that I really love Japan. But yeah, no, basically, I've been having a really good time, and just in case you are curious, most of the videos were kind of pre-recorded in that time, and because people have been enjoying those pre-recorded videos, that's what's kind of allowed this to be possible. So thank you so much to everyone who does enjoy the channel and has been enjoying the last few weeks. I put a lot of effort into making sure that the videos that went out would not only just exist, but also hopefully be ones that you enjoy. So if that's the case, then that's great. And the reason this video has a different quality is because we're recording it live from Japan, because I want to tell some stories about my time here, because the Let's Play is kind of like, you know, it's like part let's build some things, and it's part also, so what have you been up to in the past week, Toy Camp? And in the past week, past couple of weeks even, because there was no Let's Play episode last week, I've been in Japan the entire time. So let me explain a little bit about what I've been doing here and what the whole scoop is, because I have had some pretty bizarre experiences. Like, you know, it's a well-known thing that, like, there's a lot of different cultural norms, especially in East Asia, compared to where you might live in, say, you know, North America or Europe, where statistically most of my subscribers are from. So let me explain what some of those differences are, and maybe some of the awkwardness that comes along with it. Because something I didn't really realize until this week is just how, I guess, embarrassed or like awkward I was around being naked. Like, it's okay, so like, you know, just to clarify, like sometimes, you know, like I can sleep naked if need be, but even then I'm not like comfortable doing it. It's like a thing that I can do, not that I really choose to do. And yeah, I didn't even realize that, like, oh yeah, when there are no real situations in the modern world, or at least my version of the modern world, where I need to be naked, right? And that's why today I'm gonna get naked. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, because I couldn't download my world, I recorded a video here that I was hopefully gonna just undo, and now there's gravel and scaffold all over the world. You'll see why in some future video, but for now, let's just not question it. My world is just very, very, very messy right now for accidental reasons. Fun accidental reasons, but accidental reasons nonetheless. But yeah, so basically, we're gonna go to the TU31 world. I'm just gonna kind of mention that, like, yeah, I didn't really realize how much of a thing it was, and one of the things, if you don't know, if you've never been, well, I assume most people have never been to Japan, but yeah, there's a thing called onsen. It's like, I guess, public bath bathing, because not everyone used to own a bath, so you used to go to public baths, and nowadays everyone has a bath, but like it's a more relaxing, it's like kind of like a hot tub experience, but you have to be naked in there. So yeah, for the first time, I would say in a very long time, I was not only naked in some form of setting, but also, I guess, lots of other people saw me naked, and I was surrounded by, like, literally my entire life, it's happened once that I think anyone else has unintentionally seen my naked, like, this is going to go really weird places. But I want to talk about this anyway, even if this feels a bit inappropriate, because, like, literally once when I was, like, 12 years old and we had to shower after a game of rugby or something, also, I just smelted everything. Go me, apparently. But yeah, one of the interesting things is, like, I never really had it happen besides, like, showering at 12 after a game of rugby or something. There was literally no circumstance in my life where it's like, oh yeah, you need everyone else to see you. But then, yeah, it happened. And I wanted to talk about it just a little bit because it's a really strange experience. One, I mean, like, in general, it's a really interesting, like, I would say soothing experience. Like, oh yeah, I had some so let me tell you something crazy. They have not only, like, hot tubs and cold tubs. Like, I basically froze to death in a cold tub of water. You know, I went in a hot tub that had bubbles or whatever. You know, the usual thing that you usually would do. But then also I went in an electric bath where they electrocute the water mildly, and it's meant to have healing benefits. It's kind of alternative medicine, so I mean, like, you know, the healing benefits are more healing, you know, quote unquote, benefits, but it was a really interesting experience regardless, and I don't know, I enjoyed my time there. But the thing about it that really struck me is like, man, the worst part of this, the part that like made it so painfully uncomfortable and made it such a weird adventure, was having to, again, not wear clothes. And then you start to think like, so why do clothes exist again? Like, okay, at some point, you know, because humans naturally don't come with clothes on. Fun fact, you actually have to make them, or someone else makes them, like a sweatshop in Bangladesh somewhere makes your clothes. But you know, you get the point that like, you know, your clothes had to be made somewhere by someone at some point, and yet we do it all the time. And at least in my world, it's very rare for someone, even like when you're a baby, right, like not to be wearing clothes. Like in fact, I used to my I don't know if this is too much information, but like my baby half brothers, like when they're naked, it's like, oh man, this is not okay. Strangers should not see you know, baby junk or whatever. But you know, maybe I'm the repressed crazy one there. But again, it's kind of weird that like, oh, out of nowhere comes this concept that like you just abide at all, but you know, in all times at all costs. And I never really realized or thought about why, but it is super strange that like, yeah, it's uncomfortable not to do something that you've done your entire life. And one of the things I didn't realize that I've been doing my entire life is wearing clothes. And I figured, you know, so again, I could tell wacky Japan stories all day, but I don't really want to, because I know travel stories is something that like some people like, but I think most people are like, can you move on to the next thing already? So also I think I'm gonna make my things start roughly. So we can make the corner over here. Again, I want to be really careful about this. We're gonna have the corner be like here on one side, and then we'll kind of go diagonally. So hopefully what I'm doing will make some more sense later. But for now, just, again, we'll work on things and we'll see how this goes. So that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's probably big enough for now. We'll see how big it gets and we can make it bigger later. But yeah, basically, yeah, we're making a giant arena. That I saw this once in a realm and I was like, that's such a fun idea. I want to make one. So I figured, why not just finally make one? You know, if I'm living one dream anyway, and again, like, I'm traveling like I've never traveled before, then why not also live another dream and make a giant spleef arena? I don't know if it's actually meant for spleef, but it's meant for some form of game. Maybe it's like we're just hitting each other and having fun with that. But I saw an arena once that I loved so much, I decided I needed to have one. And this is my need to have being fulfilled very publicly with all of you watching. How great that is. So, yeah, I could talk about Japan all day, but I think most people aren't big on the travel stories. There's a reason I don't do it all the time. You know, even though, you know, like, I go on I do whatever I do in a year. I don't like to talk about it because I guess to some people it comes across as like, oh, yeah, that's a form of flexing or bragging, because, you know, and it seems as though recently in the last like 5 years or so, travel has become like a way of being like, oh yeah, I get to, you know, it's a thing that it's almost like a symbolic form of like, I don't know, I'm not sure I'm going for like wealth or something like that, where you're like, oh yeah, look, I get to travel, that's a really great thing. Everyone wants to travel, but only I get to. And that's never how it's been for me. It's more just been like, oh yeah, it's cool to see some places and, you know, see places that get it better or see places that get it worse and see why or how or, you know, whatever else. And maybe that's only interesting to me, but it is something that definitely is interesting to me. But yeah, with that said, I just wanted to kind of mention, oh, we get some more invites that we can't turn down because it's the Switch. I want to kind of mention that, like, so, although that's a thing that I'm not going to be talking about too much, I wanted to talk about something kind of adjacent to my story, to do with, okay, let's, to do with the, here's the thing that drives me crazy. I can't ignore notifications. You can turn them off altogether in your Xbox account, or you can have them show up on your screen 50 times every time. Side Toy Cat rant here, but like all you have to do is like, again, I'm going to tell you how to ruin my life if you want to. All you have to do is keep hitting the button and it keeps showing up on the screen, which you can't remove. Even on a Switch, I'm on a device where like, yeah, I clearly have turned this down. I can even pick one of these notifications, say no to it, and the game will still decide, but are you sure you want to say no? And it's like, yeah, I'm totally sure about that, grrr. But yeah, so anyway, I've been having a really good time. I tried so many food things that I haven't done before. Like I had my first ever experience where I just wasn't sure how to eat something and the chef had to come over and be like, you are eating it wrong. I mean, he didn't say it like that. I mean, maybe that's an offensive accent or something I'm doing there. But like, yeah, I ate the most confusing food yesterday. It was like a 7-course meal, but the first course was soup, but I had like 4 implements to eat it. How do you need 4 implements for soup? I don't know, but I did everything wrong there. I met a nice couple from America actually, and we spoke a little bit, made some fun predictions. But like, yeah, no, I've had a really good time, and I just want to kind of mention, like, that's kind of crazy. But let me talk about other relatedly things to this whole, like, phenomenon, because I couldn't stop thinking about, like, you know, why is it so strange why is the idea of being naked so strange and bizarre to me? And then I remembered like almost like a repressed story where it's like, man, I don't want to remember this, but I do remember this, so let me tell you all about it, right? Because I have a funny kind of related story here that like when I was like maybe 18 or something, like when I'd one of my very first girlfriends, I have a story related to that because we were living in the same house temporarily at one point. And there's a long story on why, but just kind of trust that like, okay, we lived in the same place at one point, and because not really lived, like we were both sleeping there. Again, we weren't living there. It's confusing, but just again, go with the story. And I was quite attracted to her at the time, and I didn't realize, but I guess she might have been the reverse, or probably was the reverse. And because of that, like at one point, like we watched some TV and then like we sleep in the same room. And this was during a phase of my life. Again, this is something I bring up because it's such a stupid phase. Like there's so many things that you do where in the moment you're like, I'm so smart, and then later you realize, man, how is anyone this, Also, I've done something wrong here, it seems, because there's a block that shouldn't be missing here. Oh no, this is entirely fine. Oh no, it's not entirely fine. We're missing some blocks on all sides. It's fine. Let's just hope that this all magically makes things better. Maybe ? Yeah, it's good. It's good. We're all bueno. And then this is the new center. Oh no, this is the new center. And then we got okay. All of those ice placements I just did, they're all wrong now apparently because we missed some extra blocks. But basically, it's an embarrassing story because it's just like, man, how did I think that was a good idea? But I had this big phase at one point, like I'm only gonna sleep fully clothed because then when you wake up, you're ready to start the day. It makes sense, right? Like, oh yeah. Start day fully clothed, end day fully clothed. Therefore, there's none of this awkward transition period where you have to wake up, get dressed, etc. I slept in my clothes, woke up in my clothes, and then could immediately, like 10 seconds after getting up, could start my day, right? Also, something's going horribly wrong here. What have I done? Why is this just going, I just keep on expanding, and I'm not sure why I need to do that. Like, it's gonna be fine. I'm sure we just do 2 more blocks on each side, and then everything's magical and okay, probably. Or maybe we're going to continuously do this forever. I'm not even sure. But yeah, basically, this is an embarrassing story because I used to think that. And the reason that comes up in relation to, like, oh yeah, girl, I used to like stay in the same place, is because at one point, I don't know, she suggests something like, why don't you take off some clothes? It's really hot. And it was summer. Like I was sticking to this policy, like wearing my, my jeans, wearing a t-shirt, a jumper. Even when it was summer, it was, like whatever, 25, 30 degrees out, which in the UK is hot for a bunch of reasons. It's hotter than in other countries at the same temperature, but you don't have to believe that. You just need to know it was really hot outside and I was boiling alive, but I was like, no, I'm not breaking my policy. I don't want to have to start sleeping in, I don't want to have to start, like taking off my clothes to sleep. That's a bridge too far for me. That's something I just can't reasonably do. So she's like, oh yeah, you could maybe sleep with less clothes. You must be really hot, I know for sure I'm going to be taking off my, I don't even know what it was. And I was like, no, I'm all good. Like, I like sleeping in my clothes. It means I can get up, start the day. I was using this as an opportunity to try and convert her. Like, this is clearly the way to live. Like, I don't understand how you can live having to spend 25 seconds in the morning getting dressed. So yeah, long story short, one of the more embarrassing things that I realized looking back is like, man, there was a very clear, or at least I think very clear. Also, is this meant to be here or not? I'm really not sure anymore about anything. I feel like I've lost it all. But yeah, basically it's just a reminder that like, oh yeah, there's going to be some really silly things, and some of those silly things come because you just assume something is preconceived. Like, oh yeah, like being naked is real, or being even close to that. That's real embarrassing. But I mean, like, is it really? I mean, if you feel, I think almost like I realized something because like again I've done it a few times now just because like, oh yeah, it's super relaxing. It's basically like a spa, but also like it involves like heat. It's like a hot tub, but also like a spa. What a nice little thing. So I've done it a few times, and I guess over that time I've just become more comfortable with the idea of like, oh yeah, well this is just my body. It's just the thing that I own, and it's like a pair of clothes. It's like an outfit that you have to wear all the time. So like, you might as well learn to like it. It's kind of like, okay, wait, I don't know what a good example is, but if you were forced to eat bread every day, or like, I don't know, like lobster every day. There's only lobster on the menu. You might as well try to like lobster. Like, even if you're like, no, I don't like lobster. Like, you might as well try to enjoy the thing that you have to do anyway. That's how I've always felt about like, a morning commute, for instance. Like, whenever I'm on like some form of like, oh, I don't want to be doing this journey. It's like, let's make it. Let's try and make it something I want to do. Or at the very least, there's two ways you can deal with things. You can either make it the most neutral, non-experience possible, or you can try and make it a good experience. I feel like a lot of people always get bogged down on the idea of like, what if instead of making it either of those things, we made it something that we hate. But like, again, hating something is like another form of it's a form of leaving something stuck in your head forever, and I don't think that's a good or healthy way to really deal with anything. So anyway, yeah, Toy Cat pro tips. If you my Toy Cat pro tip for today is definitely going to be did you see that, by the way? Oh, there's a weird render bug, well, not bug, but like, apparently doors don't render until you get close enough to them. But it looks like they're just turning on their lights for the night. Again, can I just say, Minecraft Bedrock on Switch is something I regret. I'm considering making a whole video on this, so let me know if this is something you're curious about. But I really don't want to play any more Minecraft Switch after this. Like, this is going to be my big, I guess, end of it or whatever. Because, my god, it's been a rough time. Okay, so this is all good and correct. The inside layer here is just fine. Oh, no, not here, it's not. Oh, actually, wait, I think it is. We just remove these blocks, and then, yeah, we've done something great here, I think. Because now we can just remove these outside blocks, and then we're all wonderful to move on from here to the next thing. But, yeah, no, one of the things I've really come to realize is, like, I am having such a bad time playing Minecraft on the Switch. Like, it's in my opinion, it's not a great Bedrock platform, because it just doesn't perform well in any, at least in the same worlds I use on other platforms. Almost, and then when I do any other circumstance, it has random lag spikes, and maybe that's this current update, 1.10 is just like broken things some more, but like, I have had such a bad time playing Minecraft on the Switch recently, and just a fun little side note. But yeah, so just as, kind of go back to my thing, like, oh yeah, that if you're going to do something, you might as well enjoy it. If you have something in your body, it's like, it's an outfit you always have to wear. People call it the birthday suit, right? Like, even if it's objectively terrible, and I mean, like, human bodies objectively are, right? Like, even if you think about the person, like fictional otherwise you like most in the world right now, they probably look pretty ugly naked. Well, not ugly, but like, like, there are ugly positions. The way, when I was in school, someone used to have a phrase for this. Like, if you ever feel embarrassed by someone, because you're like, they are so, godlike, they look so great. Just imagine them taking a dump, and you realize that, like, oh yeah, they look pretty gross when they're doing that. And it's like, oh yeah, that's a really useful pro tip. Just like, if you're ever thinking to yourself, like, man, this person actually looks good, then just realize that, even when they too are, like, in the bathroom having a real strained time looking in the mirror, they also feel pretty terrible about themselves. And maybe that's good advice, maybe that's terrible advice. Maybe my advice here is like, everyone should feel terrible all the time. But the actual thing to learn from this is I learned the real thing is that, like, being, the phrase naked, the phrase, oh yeah, exposed, etc. I think doesn't necessarily fit with, oh yeah, showing off something that you have that you just pretend you don't have. I think what is more naked, what is more embarrassing, is trying to share something that makes you feel that same way. Like, the things on the inside of your head, I would say that's like true nakedness, right? Because no one can ever see those things unless you choose to share them. You have to go into a moment of vulnerability. You have to, share imagine if you're a turtle, the underside of your belly, you have to show that to someone. The side that someone can jump on and kill you if this is a Mario game. But like, you get the point. They're like, oh yeah, that's kind of real nakedness. That's kind of real vulnerability. The idea of showing something on the inside, and that's why I figured I would tell a story about when I used to wear clothes to sleep, and when I entirely ignored the advances of a girl who I later dated, and it was, by the way, just as a sad ending to this story, it was a terrible experience. Very much regret it. Very much wish could take that back. Although actually, it was a learning experience. Like, I think even bad experiences you can learn from, and I learned a lot from that. Like, it was the first time in my life that I realized that not only can you not be perfect for other people, but other people, not only can, other people not only can you not be perfect for other people, but other people sometimes aren't perfect for you, even if you've got, like, even if you're attracted to each other, that's not the only thing that matters. So, in a way, I learned a thing from that in the end. But yeah, I think the real embarrassing state is sharing things that you otherwise never have to. Like, not things that are just there that you hide up, but the things that you could never, the things that are buried inside you that you can even hide from yourself. Discovering those things and sharing them, that's the real most vulnerable place you can be. And is there any real use to knowing that? I'm not really entirely sure. Like, are you going to now open up and share these things with everyone? I'm not sure if that is a good idea just by itself on the surface. But I do know that it's something that, like, informs. It's always worth reminding yourself about, just as like, oh yeah, well, you technically don't have to do anything in a way, Like, I'm always comfortable when I realize, okay, so to tell an unrelated story, because in Japan I've been brushing my teeth pretty much every day, and the reason I've been brushing my teeth so well is because while I was here, I heard a statistic. I don't even think it's true, but I choose to believe. I know it's mostly true, or like, pretty accurate, even if it's a fake statistic. But it's something like 99% of people don't brush their teeth for the full 2 minutes. During a day. Like, it's just not a thing that everyone does, because, people got busier things to do. They assume most of the good feeling of brushing your teeth comes from the first, comes from just having mint in your mouth and feeling refreshed, right? At least that's most of how I feel good about brushing my teeth. Maybe I'm doing it wrong or something, but so most of the good feeling in brushing your teeth comes from that first 20 seconds. So why do the other minute 40? Like, it seems like you're just doing the same thing over and over again, so most people don't do it, right? But apparently it's such a useful thing for your oral health, and just learning that most people didn't do it was the sort of thing that made me realize, like, I'm just going to start... Oh, man, that was a big mistake. I'm just going to start brushing my teeth for a full 2 minutes, at least once or twice a day. And, it feels really, really good for my teeth. So, today, what I've really learned in this trip to Japan, as well as, I would say, seeing a whole bunch of things that are beautiful, etc., 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 as well as eating so many things that I didn't even realize I'd like before. Like, I tried some form of pumpkin while I was here, and I hate pumpkin... I don't hate pumpkin pie. Pumpkin is such a overrated... like, spice, and there's a lot of things I don't like about pumpkins. I think that, if it was my choice, we would never eat pumpkins. But I tried some, I don't know what's like pumpkin with some form of sauce all over it, and it was delicious. And it was a realization that, trying some new things is kind of wonderful. But the real realizations that I've got while I'm here is that, if you look after your teeth, it feels real good. So you should definitely do that. And I also really, like, I don't know, it's interesting to realize that on the inside, one of the things that really drives me is just the desire to do things, like, it's still easy, but, like, hopefully better than other people. Like, I guess it's almost like a competition desire, right? Like, if you make brushing your teeth all about being good to yourself, I don't really care about being good for myself. And that's something that maybe is a concern. Maybe that should be priority number one. I'm not sure if most people actually do care about themselves or what the scoop is there. But as soon as you turn it into a how good can you do a thing, that's when things get interesting. That's when, like, oh yeah, I'm better than 99% of people when it comes to brushing my teeth. Get good, you casual toothbrusher. I guess it'd be teeth brusher, wouldn't it? Both seem a little bit weird, don't they? But yeah, no, when it's said like that, it's actually kind of like, actually, yeah, I kind of like the idea of making everything at least slightly competitive, and that also apparently extends to brushing teeth. Anyway, the reason I mention all of that is just because these are the things that have been on my mind the past week. I've been having an amazing time here in Japan, besides playing Switch for the videos, and besides all the video issues we've been having, and I'm looking forward to coming back, because again, in the same vein of, how is this guy here? Oh, I've heard this is a bug. They're meant to be behind experimental gameplay, but you can just find them in the world. Can you kill them? Oh, okay. How does that even happen? Well, there's a good episode of the Update Adventures Let's Play. Thank you very much for watching and supporting the channel, such that I can do the trip of a dream of a lifetime or whatever. Thank you so much. And when I get back, which is going to be basically just under a week from now, there are a few things that I realized I kind of want to do. And one of those things is probably a speed run, right? Like, same thing, where like, oh yeah, being Minecraft's kind of fun. But I want to get, because after the world record video, a lot of people have said, oh yeah, it'd be fun if you did try to get that. So I might be trying to beat Minecraft 1.6.4 just to see how fast I can do it sometime soon. Maybe that'll be a fun live stream. And the other thing I want to do is a boss run of some form. Also, if you message me, and the only way I can remove those messages is by blocking you. So outside of videos, pro tip, don't send me random invites, because I'm not going to accept them. Like, I'm busy recording, and it just makes me, again, I don't want to block people, but I do block people, and I'm sorry about that. But yeah, for now, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed it, because I'll see you all next time. Goodbye. I hope I was recording.